My name is Justin Sauro, and my community is the Society of Jesus, or the Jesuits. It's a very wide spirituality. There's a lot of elements to it, but I think the thing that really stands out with the Jesuits is their focus on discernment and on adapting to situations and places. They're very well known for being able to listen to what God's asking of them, of a community even, and getting in touch with the deepest desire of the person. And then being able to adapt themselves to what God's asking them to do. I think they do that in a manner that is really an excelling quality, is really a charism for the Jesuits. Right. Well, this is connected to my conversion story. I was a Protestant beforehand, and I had, throughout my conversion, I basically had interactions with a teacher that was very deeply impacted by the Jesuits, and he was a teacher that we had really respected. And so when I was going through my conversion, he impacted me a lot and had mentioned the Jesuits often. As a Protestant, this meant nothing to me, but later, when I became Catholic, it stayed with me. And as I was realizing that there was a sense of dissatisfaction with my job, with my career, what I was doing, and knew that there was something deeper, that I wanted to engage the spiritual side of my life, which was so central, I started discerning, and I discerned initially with the Carmelites, whose spirituality I loved, but it simply didn't fit for whatever reason. But then the Jesuits came back into mind later on, and so I contacted the vocations promoter for the Jesuits, and I simply fell in love with their spirituality, with the community. They're a great group of people, great group of guys and collaborators as well. And they really made me feel at home. They showed me this approach to understanding my own relationship to God that was deeply who I was, but also other, something that really just rung true. The community themselves are amazing. They were people not just with big intellects, but people with massive hearts, and really managed to be really completely human in their spirituality, and the way they spoke, and the way that they simply were as people. So this just drew me right in, and kind of fell in love with the Jesuits pretty quickly after that. So normally we wake up, 6:30, 7 o'clock. We'll have about an hour of personal prayer. Then we have lauds at 8, and then breakfast afterwards. Then we'll have a course, generally from 9 o'clock to 12, on a variety of topics. Then after lunch, we would normally have time to do physical labor. So this would be cleaning, it would be shopping, it could be any of the individual tasks that we have to do, so that we always kind of, have a time in our day where we get our hands dirty and do something physical as well. So then after this is completed, you might have a little bit of study time right before Mass, which is normally at 5 o'clock. After that, we would have supper at 6, then Vespers at 7:15, roughly. And then the rest of the night would be free time, or if you needed extra help on your secondary language, you would have courses on that. So the Anglophones would have a French course, the Francophones would have an English course. And that's generally how the day goes. So normally we have the weekends off. Sometimes Saturdays it's only a half day off, but generally the weekends are free. On my own free time, I would normally work out, listen to music, read, and even bake. I've learned to really have an appreciation for cooking and baking since I've joined the Jesuits, so that sometimes takes up a decent bit of my free time. So I would say that to really get down to the foundation and really concretize your relationship with God first, to really have that as a foundation first, and be asking, is this what God is asking me to do, and not to rush into that sort of decision. To take your time praying about this, ideally having a spiritual director and others whom you can talk about this to, And over time seeing, is this really what God is all calling me to do? And then to take that leap of faith, to take that jump and try with these communities. Enter, you know, if this is really where you're being called to go and take that extra step. I think those things are all important, but again, to take your time, that it's not a rush decision, and that prayer needs to be central to this. Thank you.